Imagine a mind so steady that no insult, no failure, no loss could ever break it. A mind that stands still like a mountain in the middle of a storm. Winds may blow, rain may pour, yet it does not move. It sounds almost like a distant dream, doesn't it? But in Buddhist teachings, this is not some mystical fantasy. It is a skill, a discipline, a way of life that anyone can cultivate. Because true strength isn't about suppressing emotions, and it isn't about putting on a tough face. Real strength is the ability to master your emotions, to turn chaos into clarity, and transform pain into the very energy that helps you grow. 1. Facing the darkness to grow stronger. Have you ever noticed how often we avoid thinking about the worst that could happen? We don't want to think about failure, we don't want to face loss, and we certainly don't want to touch the idea of death. Yet, it is that very avoidance that makes us weak. Because when the real storm finally arrives, our minds are unprepared, so we panic and we break. In Buddhism, there is a practice called contemplating impermanence. Monks often spend time imagining, what if tomorrow I lost everything I owned? What if the person I love most left me? What if one day I had to face illness and even death itself? They don't contemplate to create fear. They contemplate to strip fear of its power. It's like a warrior preparing for battle. He doesn't only imagine victory, he trains himself to face defeat, to endure wounds, even to meet death. That preparation makes him stronger than anyone who only dreams of glory. When you dare to look directly at the darkness within your own mind, you begin to take away its strength. You realize that loss, failure, illness, these are not exceptions, but natural parts of life. And when they come, you won't be swept away in terror, because you've already walked through them in your imagination. The old saying goes, only when you make peace with death do you truly know how to live. So start small. Spend a few minutes each day imagining, if the worst happened, how would I hold my heart steady? With practice, you'll discover a liberating truth. Fear no longer rules you, you rule over fear. 2. The sacred pause. Have you ever regretted words that slipped out in anger? Or a rash decision that ended up costing you more than you imagined? We've all been there, letting emotions take the lead, only to wish later that we had paused, breathed, and stayed calm. In Buddhism, there is a quiet but profound strength known as the sacred pause. It's that small gap between the moment an emotion rises and the moment we act. If we let the emotion take over, we react instantly like a flame exploding when it meets the wind. But if we pause, take a breath, and simply observe the anger or fear as it appears, wisdom has a chance to step in. Picture a warrior on the battlefield. If he reacts blindly to every strike, he will soon be defeated. But if he stays still, watches carefully, and waits for the right moment, his response is precise and powerful. Our minds work the same way. When we know how to pause, we stop being victims of emotional waves, and instead, we become the ones steering the boat. You can practice this in everyday life. The next time someone irritates you, instead of jumping into an argument, take one slow, deep breath. Ask yourself, if I react right now, will this make things better or worse? That simple question can save you from so many regrets. Because emotions are like waves, they surge strongly, but eventually they settle. The one who pauses is not swept away, but stands firm like a rock on the shore. And in that short, sacred pause lies the power to transform chaos into peace. 3. the power of silence. There are moments when people deliberately try to provoke you. A mocking comment, a condescending look, or even a direct insult. Our first instinct is often anger, a need to fight back right away. But have you noticed? The moment we react, we hand over our power to them. The Buddha taught, an insult only hurts you if you accept it. That means someone can throw words like arrows, but those arrows only pierce your heart if you choose to hold on to them. If you refuse, they fall harmlessly to the ground. This is the art of non-reaction. It may sound passive, but in truth it's a higher strength, the strength of self-mastery. It's like trying to light a fire on wet wood. No matter how hard you try, the flame won't catch. In the same way, when others try to ignite your anger but you remain calm, their fire dies out before it begins. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending to be emotionless. It means choosing not to let impulsive reactions control you. You can breathe, observe, and respond with wisdom instead of instinct. Sometimes, a single moment of silence carries more power than 1,000 words in defense. Think back to a time when you stayed silent in the face of an insult. Once the anger passed, you realized you hadn't lost anything at all. In fact, you preserved your peace. But when you lash out in rage, the only thing you truly lose is your self-control. Real strength is not about winning every argument. It's about refusing to be dragged into battles that never needed to be fought. 4. Your personal life code. There's one thing many of us often lack: a guiding compass for life. Without clear principles, it's easy to be swept away by circumstances, swayed by emotions, or let others decide how we live. But a steady mind is different. It carries a life code, a set of principles that cannot be compromised, no matter the situation. In Buddhism, this is reflected in the Noble Eightfold Path, the moral and mental framework that leads to wisdom and liberation. It's the standard monks live by, unshaken, even when life itself shifts and changes. For us, building a personal life code is just as important. It's like making a sacred promise to yourself. I will live by the values I believe in, no matter how noisy the world becomes. You might begin by asking, what kind of person do I want to become? Which principles will I never abandon? How will I hold my heart steady when adversity comes? Write them down. For example, I will not let emotions dictate my actions. Or, I will choose peace over impulse, always. Simple words, but repeated daily, they become part of who you are. A person with a strong life code cannot be easily shaken. When hardships arrive, they don't scramble for answers. Their principles have already spoken for them. That is the difference. You're not just trying to stay calm. You are a calm person. 5. Turning pain into power. Have you noticed that emotions themselves are neither good nor bad? They are simply energy rising in the mind, like waves that appear and then fade away. The real question is, what do we choose to do with that energy? The Buddha once said, "No one can make us suffer except the mind that clings to suffering." This means negative emotions only chain us down when we identify with them. I am angry. I am a failure. I have no worth. In that moment, the emotion becomes a prison. But if we step back and acknowledge, anger is here, or fear is arising, we take a powerful step forward. We are no longer the victim, we become the observer. And from that place, we can transform emotion into strength. Think of fire. It can burn down an entire forest, or it can provide warmth and light. Our emotions are the same. Anger, when directed wisely, can become determination and perseverance. Fear, when seen clearly, can sharpen our awareness and prepare us for what lies ahead. Monks who sit in long hours of meditation are not free from restlessness or discomfort, but instead of giving up, they use that restlessness as fuel to go deeper into stillness. A warrior on the battlefield feels fear before the fight, not to retreat, but to focus more sharply. You can do the same. Whenever a strong emotion rises, pause and ask, how can I use this energy to grow? When you learn this art of transformation, you'll discover no emotion is truly your enemy. 6. Flipping your perspective. Have you ever faced a moment that felt like it could break you? Losing a job, being betrayed, or having a door slam shut right when you needed it most? Our usual response is to ask, why is this happening to me? But here's the strange thing. The very same event can make one person collapse and another rise even stronger. The difference lies in perspective. Buddhism teaches suffering doesn't come from events themselves, but from the way we interpret them. One person loses a job and sees disaster. Another sees a chance for a fresh start. A broken relationship may feel like the end, or it may open space for you to truly find yourself. This is the power of the perspective flip. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what lesson is this here to teach me? Instead of thinking, why am I so unlucky? Ask, is this moment training my patience, my faith, or my wisdom? Even the Buddha faced endless challenges, misunderstandings, opposition, rejection, but he didn't see them as tragedies. He saw them as raw material to polish his mind until it shone with clarity. If we view every hardship as a kind of training ground, we won't be crushed by it. Instead, we'll emerge stronger, more resilient. So the next time life tests you, pause and remind yourself, this isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. With just that shift in perspective, you'll begin to see every challenge is really a hidden gift, carrying the chance to grow. 7. Training through discomfort. We humans have a habit. The moment we feel uncomfortable, we try to escape. When we're tired, we reach for food to comfort ourselves. When we're lonely, we grab our phone and look for a quick conversation. When we're bored, we turn on a movie or scroll endlessly, trying to fill the emptiness. But in Buddhism, true growth comes from learning to sit with discomfort. The Buddha called this contemplating suffering. Instead of running away, we look directly at the pain and we see its true nature. And that nature is impermanence. No suffering lasts forever unless we cling to it. Look at how monks train. They sit for hours in silence, their legs aching, their minds restless. But instead of escaping, they use that very discomfort to strengthen their hearts. Not to punish themselves, but to forge a mind that can remain calm in any condition. You can practice this in daily life. When you're stuck in a long line, instead of fuming, treat it as a chance to practice patience. When loneliness creeps in, don't rush to fill it. Try listening to yourself. When sadness visits, don't drown it in distractions. Sit with it and let it pass naturally. Just as special forces train in the cold, in the desert, in harsh conditions to become unbreakable, our minds too grow strong only when tested by discomfort and challenge. One day you'll realize discomfort is no longer the enemy. It has become the teacher. 8. Anchoring the mind in gratitude. Some days life feels like a raging storm. You wake up already worrying, go to work under pressure, and come home exhausted and lonely. In those moments, it's so easy for the mind to spiral downward, swept away by negativity. But there is an invisible rope that can hold your heart steady. It's called gratitude. In Buddhist teachings, gratitude is seen as the root of true happiness, because when we remember what we already have, the mind is anchored. It stops drifting into fear and scarcity and returns to peace. And it doesn't have to be anything grand. You can start small, grateful for the breath you still have this morning, grateful for a simple bowl of food, grateful for the eyes that let you see a blue sky. When you pause to truly give thanks, your heart slows down. It softens, and worries, anger, and sadness begin to lose their grip. Gratitude works like an anchor. It keeps the boat of your inner world steady, even when storms rise around you. Make this a daily habit. At night, write down 3 things you're grateful for. In the morning, whisper to yourself, "Thank you for another chance to live fully today." It's more than a reminder. It's a way to reset your peace. And once your heart is anchored in gratitude, no storm can ever sink you. 9. Emotional fasting. Have you ever noticed how we become addicted to emotions, the way some people get hooked on fast food? When we feel sad, we grab our phone and scroll. When we're lonely, we seek validation from others. When we're stressed, we rush toward entertainment to escape. These little sugar fixes for the heart make us feel good for a moment, but over time they weaken the mind, making it dependent and fragile. In Buddhism, this is called attachment, the inability to live without something external to soothe us. And the antidote is a very special practice: emotional fasting. Just as physical fasting purifies the body, emotional fasting strengthens the mind. It doesn't mean rejecting joy or cutting off love. It simply means reducing our dependence on outside emotional stimulants. Start small. Go one day without checking social media for likes. Spend an evening in silence, no television, no music, no distractions. Sit with boredom for a while instead of rushing to cover it up. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but that discomfort is training your mind to stand on its own. You'll realize you don't need so much from the outside to feel whole. And slowly, your mind becomes more independent, less shaken by praise or blame, gain or loss. Monks live simple lives not because they lack, but because they know. True freedom comes from within. When you practice emotional fasting, you are building an inner fortress, a place where nothing from the outside can break you. 10. Transforming emotion into compassion. Have you noticed that when we feel hurt or angry, our natural reaction is often to strike back? But in Buddhism, there is another path, turning that very energy into compassion. The Buddha once said, "Hatred never ends through hatred. Hatred only ends through love." It sounds lofty, but in truth, it begins with the smallest of actions. Imagine someone has hurt you. Instead of asking, "Why are they so cruel to me?" try asking, "What pain might they be carrying that makes them act this way?" Not to excuse harmful behavior, but to remind ourselves that behind every hurtful action is often a heart that has not yet healed. When we replace reaction with understanding, our own anger begins to soften. And surprisingly, that shift protects us. Because anger always burns us first, while compassion works like armor, gentle yet unbreakable. You can begin practicing this today. The next time someone wounds you, silently send them a wish. May you find peace. They may never hear it, but your own heart will, and it will grow softer. Compassion is not weakness. It is a higher strength, the strength of a soul that chooses to heal instead of to retaliate. And it is compassion that makes you truly unbreakable. 11. The calm observer. Have you ever sat by a river, watching leaves drift by? They appear, float on the surface for a while, and then quietly disappear downstream. Our emotions are much the same. They rise, they swell with force, and then they fade if we don't cling to them. In Buddhism, there is an attitude called the observing mind, seeing things as they are, without being carried away. The one who observes is like the sky. Emotions are just passing clouds. Clouds may be dark or brilliant, but the sky remains vast, steady, and clear. What causes our suffering is not the appearance of emotions, but our identification with them. We say, I am this anger, I am this sadness. But the truth is, you are not your emotions. You are the one who observes them. The next time someone says something that hurts you, try to pause. Instead of reacting, take a breath and whisper to yourself, this is just a feeling passing through. It's like standing on the riverbank, watching the current flow rather than jumping in and being swept away. The calm observer doesn't chase happiness and doesn't run from pain. They stand steady, letting all emotions come and go. And from that steadiness comes a deep freedom, freedom from the endless rise and fall of the mind. When you practice observing instead of identifying, you'll realize peace was never gone. It was only hidden behind the passing clouds of emotion. 12. Turning attacks into opportunities. In life, you will inevitably face criticism, condescending looks, and even betrayal. Our natural reaction is often sadness, anger, or a loss of confidence. But Buddhism teaches that these attacks only have power if you allow them to touch you. Imagine your mind as a fortress. If its walls are weak, even a small stone can break through. But if its walls are strong, then no matter how many arrows are fired, they simply bounce away. Throughout his life, the Buddha endured endless criticism. Yet he remained unshaken because he understood. Words are only like wind, they pass through the ears and vanish, unless we choose to hold them in our hearts. So instead of seeing insults as humiliation, see them as training for the mind. When someone offends you, quietly say to yourself, this is my chance to practice calmness. When you are misunderstood, think, this is an opportunity to let go of my need to prove myself. In this way, every attack no longer weakens you. Instead, it becomes a brick, strengthening the walls of your inner fortress. True strength is not found in avoiding all attacks, but in transforming them into the very material that helps you grow. My friend, becoming unshakable doesn't mean suppressing or denying your emotions. It is the art of mastering and transforming them, turning fear into awareness and anger into strength. The Buddha taught that true power does not come from aggression, but from a deep stillness within the heart. And when you nurture these 12 habits each day, your mind will slowly become like a mountain, calm in the storm, steady in the face of change, and free from unnecessary suffering. This journey doesn't end with one video. It is the path of a lifetime. But with every step you take today, you become wiser, stronger, and more at peace.